but I still have to have my Diet Coke fix.
My New Year's resolution was to eat more chocolate and to recreate more. And so far, it's going fantastically.
Last week, we checked in with our friends over in the KSL newsroom about the status of their New Year's resolutions. So far, so good for some. Others might be in need of a little mid-month boost. In fact, our next guest says most people need a complete resolution makeover. Studio 5 relationship coach Matt Townsend is here to reframe our way of thinking and approaching those goals. Do you set New Year's resolutions?
Nope, not a one.
No, really? Do you?
I do, but mine are very different how I set them.
Yeah.
I've kind of learned over time, I ask myself, what's my real goal here? Is my goal to be able to have a six-pack? And then I think, no, because I can just draw that on.
In fact, you should see how long he spends in the dressing room.
Just with my shirt off.
Paint, I know, it's awful.
Etching my abs. I guess what I try to do is, I always think, when I'm 65, is this going to matter? So I'm trying to create a change of my life. I want to be someone different. I don't want to just be something different this week. I don't want to be something different this month. I want to be in my life. I want every part of my life to be heading in the right direction.
Yeah.
And so when I'm 70 years old, I can be the kind of person I want to be.
I love
and
that.
It doesn't mean our goals can't help us with that.
Sure.
But it may not matter when I'm 70 that I ran a marathon, but what will matter is that I had discipline, and that I had hard work, and that I had focus, and I was able to have self-control.
It's the greater goal.
It's the greater goal. So what I think happens is we set these goals, we have these great objectives, and then all of a sudden they disintegrate in front of us. And by, what are we, the middle of the month, end of the month, we're already out of our New Year's resolutions. So I have 4 rules that I try to use, okay? The first rule is principles over practices. In the end, it's always the principle that creates all the results.
Yeah.
When you have a diet, all diets basically include the same principles. Some form of moderation, some form of exercise, more hydration. There's your principles. Everything else kind of is just how we're going to get that to happen.
But yet we focus so often on getting to the gym by a certain time or spending this amount of time on the treadmill or the details. And you're saying look at the bigger picture.
I'm saying in the end, most of us, whatever our practice is, like right now it might be, I want to run 5 5Ks this year. That's a practice. In 10 years, you may not be able to run any because of a bad hip. So the principle, though, will still apply. Moderation, some form of exercise, and hydration. Those same principles will still help you. So start looking for the power of the principle. The principles are really, that's all that matters. Now, I can say that a million times and everyone thinks they know what that means.
We nod our heads and we think,
I know, it's about the principle. But you'll see most of the resolutions, like don't drink Diet Coke, that's a practice. There's a principle behind it, and it might be I don't want the addiction, so I want to be addiction free. So great, find a way to be addiction free, not necessarily Diet Coke free or whatever the situation
I
is.
love this next rule. It kind of resonated with me. You said don't go for the perfection, go for the momentum, and that word momentum is where we really get stuck so often.
Don't you think in the end every goal should be about continuing, increasing, maintaining momentum and the right direction? I can spend the rest of my life starting new goals, but if they're not leading me to the ultimate direction I want to be going, and if I can't keep my momentum up, then I'm in trouble. So instead of trying to perfect something, how many times by about the 10th of January are you done with your goal because you've already blown it?
Right.
So that perfection concept keeps me from just keeping my momentum
And you
going.
feel like you've failed. It's not like you just give. I mean, you honestly feel like you have not been able to reach that, and so you yourself have failed in that pursuit.
No, the irony of that's stored. See, we think, blah, blah, blah. But that concept is stored in our subconscious that we can't accomplish things.
Yeah.
And what I would rather that we're looking at is the principle, and then I want us to start finding consistent ways where we're getting momentum on a principle, like discipline. What if I'm growing discipline, and that discipline's starting to gain momentum? Honestly, if my discipline, the principle, was gaining momentum and direction in the right way I'm supposed to be going, guess what? I will eventually get everything I need out of life.
You say too many people focus in on individual parts instead of looking at the whole picture and the whole person.
Yep, we are a whole being, and Gandhi taught you cannot attempt to be something in one compartment that you're not in another compartment of life. So many reasons why I think our goals fail is because we're trying to work on a physical goal. But the reality of a physical goal is it's deeply impacted by an emotional state of mind. It's deeply impacted by who we are spiritually. It's deeply impacted by who we are socially. I went on a cruise, and when you're on a cruise socially, the goal is to eat. The goal is not to stay fit and healthy per se, so that my social goals on a cruise would impact my physical goals. So if we're going to fix something, we have to fix the whole thing. There's a friend of ours, I won't name names, who's lost 105 pounds. And I asked him how he did it, and I thought he'd say I went to a dietitian. He did go to a dietitian. He also has a fitness expert that helps him exercise. He also has a counselor. He's working 3 different parts, and he talked about how it opened up his spiritual side. If you're going to try to change a goal, and this is what we do in my Life Changer program. We work on 6 areas, but I want to work a little bit on all of the areas simultaneously. Yeah. And you'll see that you can actually free your emotional self, and it gives you more energy to work on your physical self.
Love it. 30 seconds or less, how should our conscience guide us with our goals?
I believe, remember we talked about it before, spirit, mind, and body. Those are the 3 things in action. The spirit is aggregating all it needs to know about you. Your spirit already knows how to help you set free some of your problems that you can't set free. The problem is we don't go to the spirit side of us to figure it out. So I just simply ask myself a question. Physically, what's the most important thing I can do today physically to have the greatest impact on my life? And then I set one goal. And then that goal is my goal for the day. And I don't set it in 15 areas, but tomorrow I'm going to say socially, what's the most important thing I can do tomorrow socially? And I'll set a goal tomorrow. And I just set one goal a day in different areas based on a principle. And eventually what I found is you do that over a month, you're going to see that you're going to start to heal yourself from all these different angles.
Love it.
Power!
Matt, thank you. You mentioned your Life Changer program. People are really excited about this.
Go check it out. MattTownsend.com. Look up Life Changer. For the price of a combo meal, we'll help you set goals every day and chart it.
I love it. We're getting a lot of questions about it.
Awesome.
So MattTownsend.com is where you go to check out that new program, and we will be right back.